Ever wondered how different our education system might have been if we were born in ancient Greece? Quite a stimulating question, don't you agree? This isn't a question posed in jest or in passing, but one that truly requires us to delve into our imaginations and historical knowledge. Picture it. Close your eyes and let your mind drift back, way back, to a time when the world was a vastly different place. The ancient Greek city-states come alive in your mind, their white marble structures gleaming under the Mediterranean sun. You see yourself not sitting idly in a modern classroom, but learning in the shade of the Acropolis. You are surrounded by some of the greatest minds ever to have graced this earth. The likes of Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle are not just names in a textbook now, but your very teachers. You are not there to merely memorize theories and formulas. No, this is a more invigorating, engaging form of education, a more tactile and immersive experience. You're sitting on a hard stone bench, engaged in a deep, thought-provoking discussion about the nature of the universe. Or perhaps you're standing in a public square, arguing your point of view with vigor and passion in a spirited debate. There are standardized tests, no report cards. Instead, your assessment lies in your ability to question, argue, and persuade. Your education is not merely about the accumulation of knowledge, but about the cultivation of wisdom and virtue. The Greeks believed in the harmonious development of the mind, body, and soul, a stark contrast to the often rote-based, standardized education of today. Each era, each civilization indeed has unique facets that color their approach to education. The Greeks were no different. Their influence on education, like many other aspects of their culture, remains evident even today. Our schools and entire system of education owe a great deal to them. As we progress in this journey, we'll see how the education system has evolved, how it has changed, and how it has remained the same in certain aspects. From the bustling classrooms of ancient Athens to the digitally enhanced classrooms of today, education has certainly come a long way. So, are you ready to step into a time machine of knowledge? Well, buckle up as we're about to embark on a fascinating journey from the ancient Greek classrooms to our modern-day schools. Education in ancient Greece wasn't just about learning facts and figures. It was about shaping a well-rounded individual, physically fit, intellectually sharp, and morally upright. This approach to education was a reflection of ancient Greek society, embodying their ideals of personal development and civic duty. The education system wasn't restricted to the confines of a classroom. Athens, the city itself, was an open-air school. The agora, or the marketplace, was a hub for intellectual discourse, fostering debates on philosophy, politics, and arts. The gymnasium, besides being a place for physical training, also served as an educational center where music, literature, and philosophy were taught. Literature was a significant part of Greek education. Epics like Homer's Iliad and Odyssey were not just adventurous tales, but were moral textbooks imparting lessons on courage, loyalty, and honor. Philosophy, fostering critical thinking and introspection, was a key pillar of their education. The philosophy of Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle encouraged a thirst for knowledge, and athletics played integral roles in character building, with music seen as an emotional expression and athletics promoting discipline and sportsmanship. Education was not a means to an end, but an end in itself, a lifelong quest for knowledge and virtue. The Greeks believed that a well-educated citizen forms the foundation of a prosperous society. So, the ancient Greeks valued a well-rounded education that aimed to produce virtuous and cultured citizens. They perceived education beyond mere knowledge acquisition. It was about nurturing the mind, body, and spirit, encouraging curiosity and ethical values, and instilling a love for learning. It was about equipping individuals to lead fulfilling lives and contribute positively to their communities. As centuries rolled by, education started to take a different shape. The journey, filled with many changes, moved from the Middle Ages to the present day. In the Middle Ages, the church controlled education. Monasteries and cathedral schools were the centers of learning. Education was mostly reserved for the children of the nobility, focusing on religious studies, Latin, philosophy, and theology. The Renaissance signaled a change. It reignited an interest in ancient wisdom, broadening the scope of studies to include art, science, music, and literature. This period was a rebirth of education. The 19th century brought about compulsory education. Education was no longer a privilege, but a right for all children. Reading, writing, and arithmetic, the 3 R's, became the new focus. In the 20th century, education shifted towards specialization, the system preparing students for specific societal roles. A range of new subjects was introduced, and students were encouraged to follow their interests. In the late 20th and early 21st centuries, technology began reshaping education. The internet made education more accessible and flexible. Online classes, digital textbooks, and educational apps became the norm. Thus, our education system has evolved, each era with its own merits and demerits. From the ancient Greek ideals of education, through the Middle Ages, the Renaissance, and the modern era, education has come a long way. The future is uncertain, but as we continue to evolve, so will our approach to education. Let's keep exploring, learning, and growing together. Because after all, isn't that what education is all about? In the modern world, education has become a global enterprise. This statement holds true everywhere. As we explore contemporary education, we notice the uniformity. Standardized testing is the norm, emphasizing measurable outcomes. While this approach can ensure equal opportunity, it can also suppress individuality and creativity. The next aspect is the focus on STEM fields: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. This concentration is driven by the need to prepare students for our tech-savvy world. But critics worry that this focus can overshadow other essential learning areas, potentially restricting students' overall development. Moreover, technology has become quintessential in today's education. Online classrooms and digital textbooks have made education more accessible, breaking down geographical and financial barriers. But this digital shift also presents challenges. Not everyone can access these technologies, creating a digital divide. And there's a concern about screen time affecting students' health. In short, modern education is about equipping students for a complex world. It's a continuously evolving system, aiming to balance standardization with individual strengths, STEM focus with arts appreciation, and technology benefits with its potential downsides. Like any system, it's not perfect, with its strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. But fundamentally, it's a system that aspires to nurture minds, as the ancient Greeks did, albeit differently. In essence, modern education to equip students with the skills to succeed in an increasingly complex world. Now let's juxtapose these two systems and see what we find. Ancient Greek education prioritized the holistic development of an individual. It wasn't only about academics. The Greeks valued art, philosophy, music, and physical education just as much. They believed in nurturing the body, mind, and soul in unison. Contrast this with the modern system where education is largely about specialization. It's about mastering one particular field, often sidelining others. While the shift towards specialization has its virtues, it can lead to significant breakthroughs in specific fields and economic prosperity. It has also resulted in the downplaying of subjects like the arts, music, and physical education. These subjects, once integral to the formation of a well-rounded individual, are now considered extracurricular or non-essential. However, the Greeks and many modern educators argue that these subjects are just as crucial. They enhance our emotional intelligence, our creativity, and our physical health. Additionally, the modern education system's emphasis on employability could create a stressful environment for students. It may encourage competition and isolation, increase mental health issues, and hinder the creation of a supportive community. So, what's the takeaway message from this comparison? Maybe we need to reassess our values. Perhaps we should strive to strike a balance between the Greek ideal of holistic development and the modern focus on specialization and employability. Because education isn't only about landing a job. It's about personal growth, gaining knowledge of the world, and contributing significantly to society. It's clear that while both systems have their strengths, they also have aspects that could be improved. Can we possibly learn something from the ancient Greeks to enhance our current education system? The response is an emphatic yes. Let's examine the ancient Greeks' emphasis on comprehensive education. They encouraged an education that not only fed the intellect, but also nurtured the body and character. A contrast to our modern system, where academic abilities often eclipse other aspects of personal development. In their philosophy, They accorded equal importance to physical education and arts as reading and writing. They recognized that physical health and artistic expression significantly impact mental health and cognitive abilities. These insights are worth considering, particularly as research increasingly underscores the role of physical movement and creativity in improving cognitive skills and emotional intelligence. Switching gears, let's look at the importance of and civic education in their system. The ancient Greeks underscored the development of virtues and civic responsibility. They viewed education not merely as an avenue for knowledge accumulation, but for shaping virtuous citizens contributing positively to society. In our times, while civic education exists, it often gets overshadowed. However, the current global scenario has reignited the realization of the necessity of fostering empathy, kindness, and societal responsibility in students, preparing them not just for their careers, but to be responsible citizens. Here we can learn from the ancient Greek educational model. As we ponder over these ancient ideologies, they appear to be remarkably relevant to our modern world. The concept of a comprehensive education that develops the mind, body, and character, along with emphasis on moral and civic education, are valuable lessons for our existing education system. Indeed, the ancient Greeks might have something to teach us about cultivating minds even today. So, what would an ideal education system look like? Imagine a model that balances the strengths of ancient Greek education with modern pedagogical techniques. A system that values not only knowledge, but also the growth of virtues, critical thinking, and artistic aptitudes. This envisioned system would endorse comprehensive development. It would go beyond academics, fostering physical, social, and emotional growth. Taking a leaf from the Greeks, who valued youth athleticism, our system should also encourage physical fitness and sports, understanding that a fit body fosters a fit mind. Envision a system that is adaptable, versatile, and prepared to evolve with changing times. A system not afraid to learn from its past, question its present, and innovate for its future. It wouldn't merely instruct us what to think, but also how to think, emulating our Greek ancestors. Imagine a system that cherishes individualized learning. Recognizing that each learner is distinct and embracing diversity, it would offer tailored learning experiences, allowing each individual to flourish. Undoubtedly, in this digital age, we cannot neglect the role of technology. Our dream system would harness technology as a tool to amplify traditional learning approaches. It could provide access to resources, enable global networking, and introduce innovative learning routes. In the end, this system would not forget that education is fundamentally a human endeavor. It is about relationships, community, and shared experiences. It encourages learning not just to pass examinations, but for the joy of discovery, the excitement of comprehension, and the aspiration to contribute to the world. Perhaps such a blend of old and new could help us build a truly effective education system. In this journey from ancient Greece to the present, we've seen how education has evolved. From the holistic, inquiry-based approach of the Greeks to today's structured systems, each era has influenced how we learn and grow. The Greeks nourished the mind, body, and spirit, cultivating well-rounded citizens. They valued curiosity, critical thinking, and arete. Education was viewed as a lifelong journey not confined to classrooms. Today's we can learn from the past. Integrating ancient Greek ideals into our education system could be beneficial. Imagine a world where education is beyond grades and degrees, a world where we're encouraged to question, to explore, to strive for excellence universally. Education seen not as a mean to an end, but as a lifelong journey of discovery. That's the beauty of combining the old with the new. We can foster a culture of curiosity and critical thinking, striving to create learning environments that nurture the whole individual, not just the academic mind. The true purpose of education is not to fill minds with facts, but to cultivate minds that can think, question, and create. If this exploration of education from ancient Greece to the present has sparked your curiosity, then our job here is done. But the journey doesn't end here. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't miss our next video where we'll explore the evolution of human communication. Until then, keep questioning, keep learning.